Okay, let's go. Music has started. I'm going to move to you. Okay. Yeah, music's done. So hold on just a second. Trying to find you here. We have been broadcasting, yes. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Right. Didn't hear any of that. Okay. On five, four, three, two, go ahead. Two blessings. Okay.
That we have. That went wrong. Okay, go ahead, Reverend Brown.
Father, we thank thee for this opportunity. We thank thee for being with us always, forever. And whatever is going on in the community, we ask that you handle it. And we know that you will. And that's the beauty of serving you, Lord. We know that when we call on you, you answer. And you take care of things, and we appreciate it. We want you to know that we love you, and we thank you for caring for us. Amen.
Wow, Reverend Brown, we thank you for that beautiful message right now. Like I said, that's where I stand. Forever is a good thing, and for caring for our community. But right now, around the world, we need help more so than ever. Tell us a little bit now, Reverend Brown, if you could, about Great Chapel Ministry. What is their mission?
Well, there are those people that the normal organizations like ours don't serve. Poor people, people who are without jobs, people who are recently locked out, homeless, people who need help. And we help those.
Well, I think right now, Reverend Brown, we find ourselves, I can talk about St. Louis especially, okay? Back on May the 16th, we were hit by a very hard tornado here that got
Yes, we were.
killed several people. And one of those people that got lost their lives, sorry to say, it was our own elder Lyle lost his beautiful wife over 25 years, and
Oh man.
yeah, and that's why today you hear Reverend Brown's voice. Sit down for Reverend Lyles, as we want to make sure we have a fresh prayer for you every week, and so but we also have a message from him. But I think right now, Reverend Brown, the fact that you got at Great Chapel Ministries is there for people. And right now, St. Louis, more so than ever before, needs all the help we can get and all the prayers we can get from around the world. And also, we would be remiss if we didn't say pray for the young man who lost his life most recently You know, Reverend Brown, as we look around us every day, man, we seeing more and more and more unhappy people than ever before.
That's true. But happiness is in Christ. And if we keep our eyes on Him and not on conditions, we'll always be happy. If we look at conditions, we'll always be sad.
And, you know, that's a powerful statement. Just kind of please repeat that. That's very powerful.
If we keep our eyes stayed on Jesus, we'll always be happy, because the world has unhappiness to sell.
Well, that is true, sir. That is true. Now, today, okay, we're going to try something new. Scott is going to pull up one of Reverend Brown's old messages. Are you ready, Scott?
That was Reverend Lyle's old message.
I'm sorry, Reverend Lyle's old message. I'm sorry. I apologize for Reverend Lyle. One of Reverend Lyle's old messages. Are you ready, sir?
All ready and going.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Genesis, the 11th chapter. The failure of man under the Noahic covenant.
Are we able to hear it?
This is chapter 11.
Okay, let me get my Bible at rest. We can make sure we line on line, page on page.
I'm going to analyze the word Genesis.
Okay, go right ahead.
The word, the letter G means God. The E means eternal. The N means a nation. The E is an emperor. The S is salvation. The I is infinite. And the S is a servant.
Say it again, rest of it. Make sure you can get that. Make sure we get that again.
The G is God.
Okay.
The E is eternal. The N is a nation, God's nation. E means the emperor. S is salvation. I is infinite. And S is the servant.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Ira.
Verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Even though they was all of one language, one speech, but it was like this is like them having a social place with God, like they social, like they gonna do what's right. But they wasn't doing what's right because they had a pride motive about when they getting ready to build this tower, which is the city of Babylon.
Okay, now what kind of tower? Now why are they gonna build this tower here?
The Tower of Babel.
Okay, why are they gonna build that tower?
They build that tower because they said that since we all got one language and one speech, ain't nothing that we can't do. So that's what was set up on pride, like the devil. It was set up on his principles, not God. They were doing it for themselves. They said, look what we did. And they go on to say, and it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. That was the land where Abraham lived. And they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Now, Rev, let's stop right there, please. They're going to build a tower, okay, that's going to reach from earth to heaven. Is that what you just said?
Yep, and that was impossible.
Okay.
That's why they couldn't build a tower. That's what they were saying in their mind, talking about like what they gonna do. They didn't even have God in it. They didn't even ask the Lord to bless this or something. They just said what they gonna do. And it's a
Right
work of
now,
their hands.
yeah, 'cause right
God
now,
do work without hands.
yes, sir.
And man do work with hands.
Amen.
Number 5, it said, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men build. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. This is God speaking. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth. They knew that it was going to happen because it's back up here in the 4th verse. And they didn't
Amen.
want to build a city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. The ancestry, this is the ancestry of Abram. These are the generation of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Araphat 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Araphat 500 years and begot sons and daughters. And Araphat lived 530 years and begot Salah. And Araphat lived after he begot Salah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Salah lived after he begot Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begot Peleg. And Eber lived about after he begot Peleg 430 years and begot sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begot Ru. And Peleg lived after he begot Ru 209 years and begot sons and daughters. And Ru lived 230 years and begot Serug. And Ru lived after he begot Serug 207 years and begot sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. And Serug lived after he begot Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 920 years and begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldeans. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. The daughter of Haran was the father of Milcah and the father of Ishkar. But Sarai was barren. She had no child. And Terah took Abram, his son, and Lot, the son of Abram, his son's son, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son, and Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Shur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now I'm just started with the Tower of Babel. Now I'm gonna go to Revelation the 18th chapter, and this is why this is the proof that they was building that tower for their own purpose and not for God. And verse in the chapter 18 said, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great, is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants and of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sin, and that you receive not of her plague. For her sins have reached into heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquity. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works in the cup which she had filled, and filled to her double. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore should her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she should be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. And verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her should bewail her and lament for her when they should see the smoke of her burning, standing afar for the fear of her torment, saying, I lie, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and moan over her, for no man buy her merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and orders and ornaments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruit that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. And all things were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchant of these things, which were made rich by her, should stand far for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and said, Allah, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Allah, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costlessness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. That was the reading the human view of Babylon. And then here's the angelic view of Babylon. I'm finna read now. Verse 20. It said, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God had avenged you on her. And a mighty angel looked up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence should that great city Babylon be thrown down, and should be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters should be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be should be found any more in thee, and the sound of millstones should be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle should shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride should be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon earth. May the Lord have a blessing to the reader and hearer of his word.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, that was Elder Lyles giving us one of his speeches that we had, as a message. And right now, that was a very, very, very timely message there. And without further ado, we're going to take a small break. My name is Ira, folks. You listen to FreshUSCHotTalk.com. That was Reverend Barry Brown that will join us. Okay, as I guess prayer for this week. We want to thank him so much from Great Chapel Ministries. And that was himself, Elder Allen Lyles. And on that note, my name is Ira, folks. Start on to Chuck people and start. We'll take a small break, take us out of here. St. Louis, matter of fact, it is here hot there in St. Louis. The heat is back. We have had a very cool weather, but right now, speaking of hot, this has been a very hot, crazy week. I don't know what is stored, but the most thing you hear the most about that's most present. And we need prayer for Charlie Crick and his family. This past week, okay, he was giving a speech out at the college in Utah, and it was a senseless killing of a young man at the age of 31 years old. He was shot down in an open air event where he was answering questions about, from the audience. And this is called freedom of the speech, okay, where he was asking questions back and forth, like a debate, and someone ambushed him, assassinated him, call it what you want, okay, but they killed this young man. And this is especially hard for his family, it's hard for the country, and we just said, thank you for this prayer that you can put in, for him, and we want to say thank you, for Reverend Brown in this prayer, that we need prayer for the whole country right now. And right now, the shooter has been identified by members of his family, one picture that were released at the FBI press conference. And also this shooting has resonated across the country. I mean, we had shutdowns at HBCU colleges, from Hampton University, Clark University, Mary Bethune, and Spelman. And then also we had shut down at the Naval Academy. We had shut down at the college in Colorado with some hoaxes. It was some other shootings taking place. We got to step back, people. Tell all your friends, tell all your neighbors, tell your loved ones. Pray for somebody. Reach out to somebody and say, I love you. when I talk to somebody, you know, and I hang up the phone, I say, I love you. Because right now, we need love more than ever before. And right now, and these hoaxes are taking place. This is no joke. People are getting shot here. You know, people, can't even talk to each other. Matter of fact, this young man that was who's been identified, his family was saying that he was just debating with the family. I mean, so right now families can't even get together and have family dinner. So right now, what we can do, what you can do, what I can do, we can start ourselves saying we're going to help somebody this week, okay, to pray for them, to help them look at life a little bit better, and show them that, that good things can take place, but they got to start with you. You got to start with you. So we ask you right now, as we go to other things to talk about, but right now, the last word I want to leave with you, okay, please, 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 please. Now, this has led to requests, for security upgrades, in Congress, for the, people right now who are having events, take them inside. But this is not a good thing, not a good thing at all. And while this is going on, we always talk about what's going health-wise. And this past week, or since this past couple of weeks, the CDC, there have been more questions created than answered about our health care. There's been less information needed about need for the vaccination of multiple people, including for COVID-19. And there also been an increase in reported, but you're not hearing about that so much is going on. And also, we suggest if you can call your local health department, see if you can receive your vaccination or your doctor or your clinical updates. That's what you can do. And also make sure your children are getting their vaccination as they return to school. And last, if you can practice washing your hands, which is very important, social distancing and wearing your face mask wherever you can. And also, while this is going on, the West Nile, which is the West Nile virus, is now making a return. It has increased to about a 40% rate this time in our country. And this comes from mosquito bites. We had all these rains around the country and stuff, but right now, all this water setting is creating more mosquitoes. So right now, if you get bit by a mosquito, okay, make sure you kind of get alcohol on it. Be careful when you go out. We suggest please wear a long sleeve shirt to avoid being bit. And this is also very, very, very important. And also in the news that you haven't heard about, there's been in the business world, for many years, David Stewart from here in St. Louis has been the richest black man in America. Well, right now, he's no longer the richest man in America for blacks. Still by the name of Alexander Krap, K-R-A-P, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. His father is Jewish and his mother is black. And so right now, he's made money through technology. He's worth $14.3 billion. $14.3 billion. And also coming in second is David Stewart at $12.4 billion. And Robert K. Smith is third at $10 billion. And we all know who Michael Jordan, famous for basketball, and the owner of the basketball team. He's also coming in fourth. And also this week, we marked the 25th anniversary of the deadliest day in American history, killing 2,977 Americans were killed when two Apache jets hit the north and south towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. This was something that was just one of those things that you never forget. And also there was a third jet that hit the Pentagon that's also near Washington, D.C., and then fourth crash in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. This took place by 19 hijacks in the equator, led by Osama bin Laden, who eventually was killed in 2011 by President Obama. But right now, this is one of those days that you have to ask yourself, what was I that day? What was going on? And I know I'm talking kind of fast because we can't get a lot of stuff in as fast as we can here. But if we can take just a moment of silence here, just think right now for all those families 24 years ago, this took place. And right now, we want to just pray for those families and pray that we can get peace again. Because with all this going on right now, just pray for those. A moment of silence for the Craig family and also for all the people that were involved. That I want to that killed during the Twin Towers and 9/11. You can please just take just count count to 15, and then that'd be our small break to yourself. Well, we thank you so much, for taking that time, just reflect on what is going on, and also there's a lot going on. Well, first of all, in Missouri, we are making news again. In Missouri, our legislators, House and the Senate there, have forced a ban through both houses to replace Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver of Kansas City. Now, he normally would be in the 5th District, but that has been wiped out. And this is taking place now. He just got rammed through last night up in Jefferson City, our state capital. And this is being done at the request of President Donald Trump, following what took place in Texas. And what they're trying to do is create more seats in Congress for the Republicans. Now, this may backfire in Missouri, because a lot of people in St. Louis, Kansas City, and around the state are upset about this, because this whole thing now has to go before the voters now to be approved. And right now, you can visualize, if you know anything about Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri is a large metropolitan area, urban city. Now, it's in the same district now with Lake of the Ozarks, which is rural America. So now, having the same congressman represent those people, the state reps, now that ain't gonna work. And in this case, people are upset about that, the way it took place, because people voted for who they want to be there, and they put these people in office. Now they're saying that they're gonna just take away our votes here in Missouri. Now, a lot of people are upset about this, and not only are they doing this, but our legislators right now, they are taking away several other things that took place. And the biggest thing now, as the thing for the redistricting taking place, our state leaders now want to change the law. It makes it harder for you to change, to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot. Normally, it's a simple majority. Now they want to change that to I think it's up to a third now. 2/3. Well, this is making it harder, okay? And this is a constitutional thing been around in Missouri for a long time. But our people and our legislators now, who's controlled by Republicans, by the way, they have they call it a majority in the House, majority in the Senate, and the Democrats have, they have votes, but they do not have enough to override the veto. And our government also, is waiting to sign the bill, Governor Keto. And so right now, this is what's going on there. So we don't have an option here to do this, And so this is not for Missouri, nor is it a good thing, for our state that they're changing these seats in the houses and the House of Representatives, because people voted, but now they're trying to change the law, that we all share in the state, and they do it against people's will. And so now this is not something that's gonna go well. I'm kind of saying that I believe that enough people are gonna be upset that when they come time to vote on this, that it will be overridden by the people. Nobody wants to have all the changes they're making now. And in Missouri, they have come out in the past, and I think they're going to do it again. So right now, not only are we working about Missouri, okay, but also I have to talk about a little bit what's going on right now with the I can't say the White House, but what's going on in Congress right now, since they just came back in. The next big fight that you're hearing about in the news is Jeffrey Epstein. There's a lot of talk right now about what's going on with him. Well, the latest big thing that took place was that the ambassador to the United Nations, from the UN, from the UK, from Britain, he just lost his job because of some videos that came out and pictures came out about him and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, right now, there's a fight in our Congress right now where they're trying to get 218 votes to vote and release all the files. Now, you've been getting drips and drips and drips and drips, and people saying they want the whole file to come out, which I think they should, because this ain't been going on too long here. There's been promises made and promises not kept. So right now, I feel they will get 218 votes to take this, to release all the files, and I think that's something that should be done. Now, also, they're not talking about this yet, okay, but something that's going on that's going to be in the news pretty soon is that we have not heard about anything that's taking place for our budget for the upcoming year. Normally, okay, we have these budget crises where they want to shut down the country because they can't pass a budget. Well, right now, there's been very little activity going on in Congress because they just got back from a long break. So that's going to be coming up real soon. And also, Memphis is the next city that will find themselves with federal troops coming into their city. Now, we just had an episode this past day, a couple of days in Chicago, where an ICE agent was doing a traffic stop. Well, first of all, let me say this. Those young men were not trained to be traffic cops. To be a traffic cop, it takes a lot of training for the police department and the highway patrol for them to know how to do that. So this is kind of creating a whole lot of chaos that does not need to be going through right now. So we ask for all the families to be prayed for. The young man that was shot, I hope he has a speedy recovery. But I hope our president would take a deep breath. And we don't need all these troops. This is my personal opinion in our cities. We do not need that right now. Do we need things to take place? Yes. But also, I'm rushing to get this done. Here in Missouri, again, I'll tell you about what's going up in Jeff City. But also here in St. Louis, we had a tornado 3 months ago. On May the 16th, I should say. And a lot of people lost their homes, their families, got displaced. And right now, we're still waiting on FEMA right now to come in and give us help. There's been promises made, but no promise kept. And also, we always said, in St. Louis, in St. Louis County, we still having murders, and we still having carjacking. So keep us in your prayers. My name is Ira, folks. You listen to Ferguson, USAHotTalker.com. Long to the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. On that note, Scott, take a small break. Welcome back to the Last 14 Missouri by Chairman Conway for a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Here in St. Louis, it's hot, 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 hot. But we need some rain. But right now, Lisa said we have one of our favorite guests today, Mr. Bill Kovaks. Bill, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we were just laughing when we came back on the air that Scott and I were talking to Bill, and Bill, I can introduce him. He has many titles, but the one thing we can call him is a friend of our station and of us here on SpiritualHotTalkRadio.com. So Bill, as a friend, author of many books, as a writer, he does his own blog and he does quite a bit of stuff. So Bill, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you. Being a friend is probably the best title I could have. So.
Yeah, well, right now he's my mentor, by the way. Let people know that. I don't know. I'm not saying with that. I'm happy to know that, and he's also my big brother, also.
Got to keep it straight.
Well, Bill, I need help. I need help. Well, right now, Bill, before I don't know where to start. Okay, give me your take, okay, on our country right now. I mean, from your perspective.
Wow, that's a pretty big question for.
That's a mouthful. I know. That's started off.
I think the fairest thing to say is we're in trouble, and we don't really have anyone who wants to get us out because they make too many followers by keeping us in trouble and complaining about the other side. And we need a little bit of help in really putting some policy together that's going to help more than the top 10% of the population.
You know, Bill, what you just said there reminds me of something I've been thinking about, talking about for the last couple of days. A couple of years ago, over in Israel, Hamas attacked, Israel because Netanyahu, the prime minister, found himself in a lot of turmoil, inside this country. I mean, and they wasn't looking at what was going on around them, and they were, I guess they didn't have their eye on the ball, and they had a surprise attack. I worry right now about our country being in a similar position now, because this time last year we had a lot of friends around the world. Now with the tariffs that the president has put in place, it has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. We had the war going on in Ukraine that still getting worse. Where Russia is getting bolder and bolder, where it's kind of going, hitting other countries now over in the Middle East, where Israel is saying they don't care what the United States is saying, they just bombing some other countries now that's beyond Gaza, and the president has been saying he's going to settle these here, but all these are going in the wrong direction. What is going on, Bill?
Well, we forgot about the president sending military to D.C., and now we're going to send it to Memphis. Yes. We just blew up a boat coming out of Venezuela the other day. When he felt like it and he woke up, we bombed Iran without a declaration of war. John McCain I don't know if you guys are all old enough to remember John McCain. He'd go on stage and sing bomb, 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 bomb Iran. There goes Trump, he does it. I have really several thoughts on the mess that we're in. The first is, I don't know that we're going to be attacked, and the reason why I'm saying that is, I don't think we have a president who's a bully, but I think when he's pushed back, I'm not so. It's like all bullies. I'm not so sure he fights that hard, and I think Putin is proving it. Putin's standing up to him, and Trump's not doing anything. So I think that's not going to happen. I think what's more likely to happen is we're going to walk away from Ukraine and let the Russians just do whatever they want, and then I think we're just probably going to let the Chinese do whatever they want in Taiwan, and at that point in time, then we become serious. Then attacks become more serious because geopolitically, our enemies have what they want. and I think that's really crucial. So we're in a mess, and I just think we're in a mess, and we're not figuring it out, and we just don't have politicians, and I mean, I've got one more comment. We don't have politicians who want us to bring us together. They find political advantage by ripping us apart. And if you go down, I mean, I don't care who the politician is. I don't care whether it's Donald Trump or Barack Obama or Newsom, or they're all in the divisive mode. The only politician I've heard with any conciliatory hope was this Governor Cox of Utah yesterday. When he was talking about the Kirk assassination. He was the only person I've heard in this whole mess who sounded sane, who said, look, we've got to start bringing things together. We've got to start talking to people. That's really so crucial, because I think the politicians, and I want to include, I don't want to leave them out, the influencers, have so ripped this country apart that we have no one really, putting it back together. I mean, I hate to say it, but I can't remember the last president who tried to help the country.
Well, Bill,
maybe Harry Truman.
Well, Bill, one of the things, okay, and just my personal opinion here, okay. Normally when we have a shooting, okay, we all look for the president to come on TV and tell us it's going to be all right. Like I think they made a joke about Joe Biden being considered being the the one that can always come there and say something nice, encouraging, and settle the nerves, okay. It's conciliatory, chief or something like they called him, okay. And right now we were waiting, and we're still waiting, okay, for our leaders. Some just said to come out and say, hey, tone it down. We need to stop pointing fingers. Families need to stop, fighting about let's come together as a family, as a whole. But that's not taking place, Bill.
It's not.
And as a matter of fact,
there's no advantage to these people to have it take place. I mean, when you have a country as divided as we are, you're just looking for that 1% that's in the middle to put you over the top.
Yeah.
And actually, and then I promise you can respond to me, because this may be controversial. One of the things that really irritated me, I guess, was Friday when they caught Charlie Kirk's killer. Mm-hmm. Was the person they didn't let the police come on like they usually do. They didn't bring on the commissioner of public safety. They didn't bring on the governor. They didn't bring on the people who were involved in the investigation.
Like they normally do.
Right. Trump goes on Fox News. I've got to announce it. It's like I'm at a point where, and look, I'll be the first to tell you I voted for Trump, and it was a huge mistake. And he goes on TV, we're going to get the guy, and we're going to bring him to justice. That's more of the, it's the huffing and puffing, but he didn't do anything. His FBI guys, went through the Keystone Cops as they got different planes to go out to go out to.
And how much
Utah.
How much of that? And you talking about in a couple of weeks now, we're going to hear about budgetary restraints. How much did it cost for those jet planes, okay, to fly across the country? And the FBI chief and his assistant stood up there and didn't say one word. They see how I'm saying one word. Normally, what the president was saying that we got him, that should have came, like you just said. The governor there traditionally where it took place, and he's been a voice of reason. They normally have a press conference. So people don't understand that we're not just being talking back and forth here. Where they have the person that's in charge of the state security, the director or whatever, the highway patrol or whatever, and said he come on, then he invite, some other people, like he introduced the FBI, some other department, the police department. None of that took place.
Nope.
None of that took place.
Trump had to be the big goon, and he had to go on Fox News. They had to get rid of all their other guests and put him on and make him feel important. The only person who that matters in the entire universe is Donald Trump, and it's getting tiresome, and it's not helping the country.
No, it's not. No, Bill. I look at Fox. I look at MSNBC, CBN. I look at the national news. I scan the news all the time. Okay, I'm to the point now. I'm starting to watch more Gunsmoke, Perry Mason, and
I'm watching the Twilight Zone, so I'm a little bit further out.
Yeah, the Twilight. I watch the Twilight Zone. Okay. Murder She Wrote. I mean, let's be for real.
You want reality? Go to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Because right now, I'm tired of hearing. We talking yesterday. On Fox, they tell you we have the best economy in the world. That ain't true.
No, it's not.
Matter of fact, coffee just went up. People drink coffee. Matter of fact, they just got mad at Brazil. You know what I mean? And they just raised the coffee price went up. I didn't mention it, I was going to talk about it, but that's gone up in the last couple of days some more.
Yeah.
And it's going higher.
The economy is in terrible shape. I mean, what are you going to do? Fire everybody who develops the statistics? Look, the statistics have never been really that good, but they're the best we have, and they're probably the best in the world. So having said that, what do you do with bad ones? You try to make them better, but you don't fire the people who use the data that they have to collect by law.
Right, Bill. One of the things I had to give this man had a backbone. Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Bank, he stood up to the time. He said, "I'm not going to step down. I'm not going to be bullied. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do this, okay?" And even the lady that was on the Federal Reserve, they found out now that all those charges they made against her were all a bunch of lies, bunch of BS.
Right. She released the document that all said second home.
Right, and you know what I mean. And so right now, we going out. There was a time, and God knows I mentioned Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather in those days when they would release a story after it's being checked out a couple of times. Nowadays, people like the FBI director, of all the security that he has, more than any man in the whole world, he gets on his cell phone from a restaurant and he's texting that they got the guy.
Yeah.
And he didn't even ask his own staff. He's trying to be first. I got it. Everybody's here trying to take credit for what? I mean, first of all, here's a man that's dead, and whether you like Charlie Kirk or not, okay, he was a person, okay, that would have a dialogue with somebody. He had what they call freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? He could discuss issues with people. Nowadays, people don't do that no more.
Nope.
Like you and I, we go back and forth all the time.
I have to tell you this, the difficulty is our generation, which is really sort of getting out of the way right now. We just looked at the world differently. When we were all kids of World War II, the country had really become its own place. It took on the largest dictator and mass murderer in the world. We had an economy where there was a lot of equality. People didn't make a lot of money, and the tax rates were high. But the economy was booming, and everybody had to do a job. I mean, you can go back, and today, this is my complaint only because I saw a lot of these people when I was, working, and that is the younger kids don't want to put in the time. They've got to be babied, and they can't be criticized, which means they can't learn. So it's just such a different place. I mean, if I were going to give any advice to the Black Chamber, the Missouri Black Chamber, National Black Chamber, whatever it is, as all of these, and here's the best example. When Trump's One Beautiful bill was going through Congress,
the Democrats really complained about it, and they had more than their share to complain about. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't have, but they never really came up with, okay, here are the real fundamental problems. Here are the flaws. The tax benefits go here. Here's a chart that shows where they go. We're taking away Medicare. Here's a chart that shows what's going to do. Here's a chart that shows that if we had a better tax system and it was a little fairer, these people would be able to get A, B, and C, and they wouldn't be as poor. And right now, the way it's structured is, if you're in the top 1%, you get a huge increase in take-home pay, and if you're in the bottom 30%, you lose money. I mean, but the Democrats, they were always had a conclusion on that, but they never really got on and said, here's why, with the facts and the documents. And having been in that business for a very, very long time, I am telling you, you have to have the facts and documents to persuade people. Even people who don't agree with you will sit there and think about it at least. But when you
Excuse
just
me for a
scream at
minute,
them,
Bill.
sure. Yes.
You're breaking up. If you could sort of bring your phone a little bit farther from your face. Okay.
You got it.
Thank you.
Further or closer?
It's still breaking up there.
Is this better?
That sounds a little better, yeah.
This better at all? This better?
Yes,
Okay,
it
we
is.
good. Yeah, we good.
Oh,
we
good.
good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, but I mean, they could have done a better presentation. They didn't. They decided, well, there's nothing we can do, so we're not going to do anything. That's foolish. You got to play these games for the long term. I mean, you were involved in the civil rights issues. That took from 1865 to 1965.
And it's still going. Bill,
It's still going.
It's still going. But let me say this, Bill. One of the things, okay, that we were talking this past week or so about the beautiful bill, right? I found one person here in Missouri, okay, who said the big beautiful bill is a beautiful bill. And guess who it was?
Danforth?
No, Eric Smith, one of our senators who voted for, okay, got editorial in the voter dispatch trying to say how good the bill is with them closing the hospitals in here in Missouri. But people right now are losing their benefits here in Missouri. Nowhere. Like the hospitals are closing. Some of the recreation centers are closing. The policemen, getting their bills, their budget's cut. And he's telling us that this is a beautiful bill.
Yeah. Well.
And wait a minute. We haven't talked about prices of food going up. Gas is going up. Everything is going up, Bill.
Oh, I was just told by Trump the other day that gas is only $1.15 a gallon, and the coffee and everything is cheaper than any time in the history of the world.
Where did that?
Trump said it.
Oh, okay.
He's always telling me that.
The statistics just came out that coffee went up, I think, about almost 20% in the last year. 20%. And guess what, Bill? It's going to go higher.
Yep.
Right now.
Okay, so
what do we do?
This is what I'm saying. I think that, the difficulty with radio shows, and whether it's anything or this one, is that we so often talk about what it is that's a problem. Mm-hmm. And the people know what the problems are. They go to the store every day. Mm-hmm. We've got to begin talking about the solutions. And, last year at one point in time, you had a long radio show on how do we solve these things. And we discussed just nothing but solutions.
Yeah. We did 2 shows back to back.
And you have to really get into the solutions. Like, for example, one of the things that, and you know this, and it's just a pet peeve of mine, but it's something that I really care about. And that is the federal income tax is 8 million words, 2,600, 2,700 pages. It's incomprehensible to anybody but the tax lawyers. Okay.
And they don't know them then.
And they don't really know it. Whereas in 1913, we had a 4-page 1040, 2 pages of where you fill in the blanks and 2 pages of instructions. There were very few deductions. I think there were 3 deductions, and the tax rates were very low. People have done modeling on this. You could bring something like this back, in which you lower your rates, for example, from, let's say, 12% to 6% and 22% to 15%. It would be a substantial.
That's quite a bit.
But the point is, the reason you will never get out of Congress, you'll never get a simple tax bill, is because the complicated tax bills benefit the extraordinarily wealthy. And from 1913 forward till today, the lobbyists took over the tax bill, and they've turned it in basically to an income laundering bill for the rich. And that's what's happened. And what I say is, you want to talk a solution, go back to the 1913 bill, 4 pages. That's all you need. You get in there, you put your income in there, you get 2 or 3 deductions, you put those deductions in, and you're done.
Okay,
You're just done.
I apologize for that. I'm remiss. Why don't you tell people about your blog? While we, because people, there's something that I get a copy of, and I kind of send it to our people, our members and stuff. Tell us about the blog that you had that explains what we're talking about.
Well, I write a blog. It's called "Reform the Cacistocracy." Cacistocracy. That's a term most people have not used, but it's ruled by the least stable or least principled citizen.
And it came from your book. One of your books that people should read.
Right. It's Reform the Cacistocracy. And what I try to do is to take the issues that are present day, but not to write about, this is terrible and this is terrible and this is terrible, but to say, okay, this is terrible, but here's what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, like right now, it's coming out next week, I'm doing an article on federalism. How many people really know what federalism is, and do they care? But it's government, but it's 2 sets of governments running the same area of land and the same people, which is the states and the federal government. But the point that I try to make is, really until the 1930s, the states ran the domestic programs, and the federal government ran the international programs. Okay.
And it worked. And it
worked. We had a good economy. We had whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Starting in the 30s, the federal government started taking over things. They took over all of the labor policy. They took over all of the trade policy. They and so the point of the article is that I talk about, you can't have a country existing like the United States without federalism, and I'll tell you why. Because what happens here in federalism, the way the federal government has taken control of the issue, is that they've taxed all the people in the United States. Let's say they tax them all $100,
mm-hmm.
and that money comes to Washington. And then the federal government has all this money from the people, and they say, well, if you want your money back, your state is going to have to do X, Y, and Z to implement what we want done as a federal government. But we don't have the authority to do it, but you do, but we're going to pay you with your money. So that $100 that you send into Washington, $80 is returned to the states. So Washington keeps 20 to expand its bureaucracy to be a bully to the states, and the states then try to implement it. There is no reason in the world. I mean, I'll give you one really good example. All the environmental laws are really have always been run by the states. They're still run by the states. Mm-hmm. But the federal government has all these mandates in the environmental laws. And so what happens is the federal government says to the states, you've got to do A, B, and C, and we're going to pay you $10. And the states say, well, but it costs us $25 to implement it. The federal government says, well, we don't care. If you want the $10, you're going to have to do it. And if you don't want the $10, forget it. I asked the question in the article, what happens if the states just all decide we're not implementing any federal programs? You know what would happen to the federal government? It would collapse. It would just collapse.
But Bill, see, I think what you just did there, okay, you gave an example, and you gave a solution to the problem. Right now, I give you a perfect, good example. We here in Missouri just went through a disaster relief It's supposed to come from the federal government when you have problems like that. When there's a flood, when there's fires, when there's tornadoes, when there's hurricanes, the government has the money that normally would come in, but now they're putting so much restrictions on even getting the money, that's our money, to help us when we need it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where there was a simple form you would fill out, the president would say, I'm going to do a declaration, okay, and help us on the way. Well, right now, our new president, we had the fires in California. We've had the floods, in Tennessee. We had the floods, in Texas.
North Carolina. Let's go over the states.
North Carolina. We had the problem up in New York State. We had the ice storms. We could go down the list, okay?
Ira, you're breaking up.
Okay. We are. Let me see, Scott. Hold on a second here. We can change that right quick. Hold on 1 second here. How's that, Scott?
Much better.
Oh, it's great.
Much better. Thank you.
Okay. So right now, we find ourselves in that situation now where our money with the government, and they're making interest off our money and not helping us, and we need help.
Actually, they're not making interest off your money. They don't have any money. All the money's gone. They're $37 trillion in debt. And when the money comes in, they're more worried about buying a new plane for the president. They're more worried about 400 security guards for Pete Hegseth. I mean, I could go down the extra planes for Naomi Hill, whatever, Kristi Noem and her boyfriend and everybody else. They don't. The thing is, and I've talked about this forever, citizens are nothing but commodities that pay taxes. That's all we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are commodities that pay taxes. The federal government, if they could eliminate all of us but keep our money, they would do that.
We
have to start talking back.
Right, true. I think that's one of the things that I hate to say what used to take place. We can't change things now. But if you look forward in our future, we need to figure out, and I said we, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on or where you're at, okay, or what state you're in, everyone is in this together now. But we need to start talking to the people that we elect to go to Congress and tell them what we want them to do, not them tell us what they ain't going to do.
Absolutely.
In other words,
and every 2 years, we get a chance to say who goes to Congress. And we have to begin doing exactly what you're saying.
But Bill, right now, since President Trump feels that enough people are going to complain and remove those people, he's now trying to change the maps. Okay, here in Missouri, Congressman Cleaver, been a good congressman for over 20 years. They want to get rid of him. To take away his district, okay, to make sure that Republicans, maintain control of the House of Representatives. Why is that? President Trump feels he might get impeached again.
Well, I think if the Democrats take over, that's a certainty.
Okay, and so now, would it be a fair fight? Well, I think right now, enough people are upset, Bill. I don't know about DC. Well, yes, I do know about DC, but people are not happy to see the federal people walking down their streets. That's our people who are trained to go abroad to fight around the world are fighting our people at home. And then they're fighting, Bill. They're wearing masks, okay, to hide their faces.
Yeah.
And how do I know that you who you say you are?
Well, you wouldn't.
And if people got a mask on, a mask means that you is a bad sign that you're doing something you're trying to hide your identity. Just like in Chicago just yesterday, this ICE agent trying to do a traffic stop. Now, Bill, you know about law enforcement like I do. We got friends in that. Policemen, highway patrolmen, FBI, all of them. but they all have one thing in common. They go to school, they teach them how to be traffic cops. That's part of their training. They're not trained in the National Guard how to go out and do a traffic stop. They don't have the slightest idea.
Let me reverse the question. As long as we're on Chicago, this is a serious question.
Please.
Why would the mayor of Chicago not want to take care of crime on his own?
Well, Bill, I think it's not that he doesn't want to. It's how the process is being dealt. I'm not just have a saying. It's not what you do. It's how you do it. It's what It's not what you do. It's how you do. How you do what you're doing. And if there was if they could talk to each other, which is something that's an unheard of thing, people have civil conversation. And that way, when I talk about Chicago, Bill, all of the states where the guards are going in have one thing in common: they all have black mayors. Another thing they have in common, except for Tennessee, they have Republican, they have Democrat, blue states are Democratic states, whereas some of the states that had the highest crime rates are Republicans, and they're not being touched. I mean, so all these things here, kind of add to things that this ain't fair. What is fair nowadays?
I have no idea.
I mean, there was a thing people say it ain't fair, but nowadays, a kid asks you, Mr. Kovaks, what is fair? You couldn't answer the question.
I couldn't, because fairness has become so subjective.
Right.
But it's because we don't really have a legal system anymore.
Oh my God!
If you're a poor black, you have 4 times more chance of going to jail than a poor white, and we can just go through the whole system. But that's just the beginning of it. It's not just the crime. It's the crime, the taxes, the jobs. It's everything. But my criticism is, what's their policy for changing it? And that's what I don't hear.
Bill, that's the thing that here, brother, big brother, we agree, that I've been asking. We hear nothing, from the White House about how things gonna improve. What improvements are we getting? We have a president that's on TV every day. You see him on TV, all day on TV. I'm kind of used to my president, being out of sight, working, behind the scenes doing stuff.
I agree with that. I want Calvin Coolidge back.
Yeah, right. I want a lot of the people, presidents back where so where is he at? He's working. But right now, every day, all day, in the sense, starting off on Fox every day, President normally in the morning time is supposed to be reading security reports about what's going on around the world, what's going on in our own country, and updates.
Don't wait for that one.
But that goes back to what I said earlier in our conversation. It bothers me that I see Russia, China, and Korea in the same picture.
Okay, we put them in that picture.
Okay, now, right, okay.
We forced them into that picture.
Right, okay, and that's my point. That bothers me because right now we don't have very few people we can call friends. We used to call the United Nations our friends, but we can't call them friends anymore.
Look what we did to India. India is the largest democracy in the world. It's got 1.3 billion people. It was our friend for 50 years, and we so irritated them with tariffs, where even they're snuggling up to the Russians and the Chinese.
And not only that, down in Georgia, the Korean government, sent a charter plane over here to take their people back over there to their country.
I thought that was great.
And with me, Bill, and what they're saying, if you were to take it back, don't want to come back to the United States.
Why would you?
Well, I don't blame you, Bill. There was a time that people want to come to the United States.
Well, it's going to delay that needed plant because it's a battery plant. It's going to delay it for years.
But Bill, right now, that's going to drive prices up again.
Well, the Koreans could always pay them combat duty or something to come here.
Yeah, but they said, I don't think so.
That was the dumbest. That was so dumb. I mean, honestly and truly, we do things that are beyond stupid, Ira.
But Bill, now you kind of stupid, okay? They're saying right now, if you're a dark complexion person, how did they put that? Or if you're black and you're light skinned, everybody that's not real dark, you are a suspect to be picked up. I had two of my friends, okay, who were down in Florida. This was some years ago, and they were approached and were about to be picked up. But the people came to their rescue, and one had their passport because they were riding down the highway. In one case, they pulled them over. And because she was fair complected, okay, so we thought she was he was a refugee, for lack of a better description. And one was in a restaurant, and they came in there and they surrounded her, and then the people surrounded them and they changed their mind. And they found out that she was an American, and she down there as a guest speaker for a conference.
Yeah.
Bill, that's kind of. But like Solomon.
But again, I keep on coming back. Okay, so we've got this problem. I wouldn't handle it the way Trump's handling it for anything in the world because I think it's the dumbest way going. But what are the solutions? In other words, if you're a mayor, let's say you're a mayor in a city, or St. Louis, pick a city,
okay,
and you've got this problem, and you've got an enormous number of people who are here illegally. A lot of them most of them probably have jobs. Some of them have families and sort of they're here, and some don't, but some are criminals. What do you do to say, wait a second, there's got to be a rational way? We should go after the criminals first, and then go do this and go do this. Do we have a sign-up sheet where anybody who signs up gets a year or 2 years grace to sort of get either legal or get out? Or I mean, how do you do it? Because I think with the liberals are not presenting ideas at this point in time.
Right,
They're
right.
Not, and until they present ideas, they don't have a chance of winning.
I agree. But one thing you talked about, criminals, okay, when he released, and I say our president released all the people that crashed the Capitol of 2000, January 6th. That them all walk, okay, even some that was in jail and pleaded guilty to what they did.
Right.
They had pleaded guilty, Bill, and they said, guess what? You walk, and then they go get in trouble some more.
Yep.
I mean, what kind of stuff is that you sending to people? I go back again to some young kids right now. The guys be wondering, hey, what's going on? I don't want to grow up.
Well, I mean, nobody ever said life, again, going back to your question, what's fair? I don't know. Nobody said life is fair. But what you've got, is, okay, we're going to let the January 6th people go, but we're going to prosecute everybody who worked for Biden. Or we're going to give a pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell. The whole country has become arbitrary under Trump. It's just an arbitrary country.
And he loves it.
Well, yeah, because the more confusion and the more fighting, it makes it easier for him to do what he wants.
And Bill, that goes back to what I just said earlier, okay? This seems like a blueprint to what happened over in Israel when they were debating. And I'm praying to God, okay, if we don't have nothing like that happen to our country. Like today, okay, on the message that Reverend Lyles, you can listen to this when you get the tape, when you get the copy of the program, you talked about Solomon and Gomorrah. And I was telling Scott, the things that he was talking about seemed like a perfect description of the United States.
Well,
Where people don't want our goods no more. I mean, because the tariffs, and in fact, nobody knows right now why tariffs are being put on people. What is the rationale? What is the bar? What is the guidelines to who gets tariffs?
I have no idea. Whatever Trump thinks about it in the morning.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing. Okay, if you're a foreign country, you don't have the slightest idea what is right, what's wrong.
Well, I mean, but look what's happening. China is selling to different. China is not selling to the U.S. as much, but it's selling to other countries. So they're getting the goods, and other countries are getting.
They're not losing no money. They still making money.
Right, they're still making money. Russia's still selling oil to China, and everybody's still. The thing is that people. I mean, whether you agree with me or not, people are generally smart. No matter who you are, they know how to make a buck. If they're working, they know how to make a buck. If they're selling hot dogs or if they're selling trinkets, they can figure out if you got 10 extra trinkets that aren't being sold today, you're going to find some way to sell those trinkets.
Yes, sir. Somebody going to buy them.
That's right. And somebody somewhere in the world is going to buy it. And the longer this continues, the fewer countries who are going to be trading with us and the more insular we're going to be becoming. And eventually, I'm just going to predict this right now. If you think that we have problems now, and I'm going to say this, if you think we have problems today, wait until we're an insular country. Nobody trades with us. All the immigrants are gone. You wait until that day. You wait. Because you ain't going to want to be here when that day comes.
But Bill, so far we have overlooked the immigrants. These are the ones that pick the fruit. These are the ones that goes into the fields. These are the ones that, like we talk about apples and oranges and, the vineyards, the grapes, and the hotel workers and all those people like that.
And well, people who clean the bathrooms that you have to use.
All that, okay. Well, they've been ran out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, the people they've been ran out of here. That's like the people we talk about from Korea. They send a jet over here to get their people, and then the prime minister said, "I'm not sure I want to do business with you no more." And he had just promised billions of dollars of work, okay, for the United States.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You treat my people like this."
It's going to be more and more countries are going to do this because they're not going to sit here and pay our tariffs, be humiliated by us all the time, and then expect us to deal with them.
You wouldn't, would I? No, I wouldn't either. No, that's the thing. Treat the way you want to be treated.
But most countries are, look, most nations, they have diplomats and they try to do things in a more sophisticated way. They get beat up by Trump. They're not going to sit there and say, "I'm tired of getting beat up by you. I'm going to kick you too." What happens is they just go home and they say, those products we used to sell to the United States, maybe they can be sold to Brazil. And these products, maybe it can go to Costa Rica or India or wherever. And they go. And then they sit down and cut deals to try to sell it. And they try to help their exporters sell the product, and it all gets worked out. Anybody who underestimates, and I'm not talking about people in the United States, I'm talking about people generally. People know how to survive. People are going to survive. And if they have to move a product by selling it to a different country, they're going to do it. And the only people who don't know that right now seems to be the United States.
I guess the question here, this is sounding real crazy here. Congress, our senators, Congress people, okay, they are now consumed with Jeffrey Epstein, whatever his name is.
Epstein, yeah.
Epstein.
It's great, isn't it?
They're not concerned, okay, about the coffee prices. And they're not concerned about the hospitals closing. They're not concerned about people who can't, about the, we ain't talked about what's going on with JFK Jr. for that vaccination. Right now, the West now is only increased. COVID-19, This is not going any place. Just telling the kids, for all the years that I've been around, we told our kids, and the kids told our kids, and they told us, okay, you go to school, vaccinate your kids. And guess what? It worked, Bill. It worked. We didn't have no measles, and we didn't have all these breakouts, strep throat, and whatever you want to call it, because we got vaccinated. And you got the same needles, okay, the same vaccine, the same doctors doing this, okay, but it's all because one man feels that it's a bad idea. One person feels it's a bad idea. This person been arguing. This person is I won't say it.
Yeah.
This person, his own family, says he should resign. And
Well,
and then the thing, okay, if you hear him talk and tell people that he lied to them, the Congress, the senators, the people, he said he lied to them, and he admitted he lied to them to get consummated.
well, I would reverse that and to say who in Washington tells the truth. But that's, there's the old joke. How do you know when someone in Washington stops lying? They shut up. Other than that, they just keep on lying. I mean, the Epstein things, if you want to talk about a travesty of justice, injustice, here's a story of 1,000 young women, maybe they say it could be 2,000, they don't know,
Right?
who have been sexually abused. They know they have been. They know each of the girls know who did it to them. And this has been going on for 20 years, and the federal government has done nothing. Nothing. And the real issue here is if there's any justice in the world, you have to do something to help these women. You have to do something. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't even think disclosing the files is enough. I mean,
No. That doesn't, to me, Bill. Somebody, and this lady that's now, they trying to give her a pardon in some kind of way now. That the lady, Maxwell.
Maxwell.
They trying to be nice to her, okay, because she won't name Trump, okay, as a person of interest, so for lack of a better description.
Well, I don't know if Trump's involved or not. I mean, and I don't know that it matters.
It doesn't matter to me, Bill.
But the people who need to be identified are the people who are involved, whoever they are. I don't know who they are.
These women are coming forward, okay. Normally they don't want to show their face, but these women are coming forward, and I guess what gets me, these men, Republican men in Congress, they got daughters, mothers, nieces, and all those young ladies in their lives, okay, that could have happened to them.
But you're making the assumption that any of these people care. I don't. I spent 40 years around that place, and I can tell you, I don't know that anyone cares. I mean, I don't sit here and say, I got a government that's going to protect me. Oh, no. I worry about protecting myself from the government. You want to know who, you want to know who you should fear? I have much more fear that the federal government will do something to me than I do some criminal.
Amen.
I mean, that's where the real problem is. It's the government is going to get you. If they want you, they will get you.
Right.
Just like this cook woman who's on the Federal Reserve. There's a perfect example. They wanted her off. They didn't care whether they were lying or not. They didn't care whether all the documents were false. They didn't care about anything. They just wanted her off, and they were going to make up a lie, and that lie was going to go as far as they could go. And they fired her, and she went to court, and the courts so far have stayed her. But they didn't care about her. They didn't care about the fact that she's a good economist. They didn't care about anything about her. All they wanted to do is have her gone for political reasons. That's what they care about.
Yeah.
And
right.
the fault, Ira, the fault is us, because we don't take these people on.
Mm-hmm.
We just let them go.
Right now, I think right now, Bill, here in Missouri, okay, we just become like a fall state when we just took on, trying to get rid of a good congressman who served well, and now, well, okay, well, this is a good example. We got to get this here, okay? Kansas City is a metropolitan area. We all agree on that, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, they have the soccer finals of the World Cup come in there. You don't go there to a major city. Okay,
It's a beautiful city, yeah.
it's a beautiful city. Think of the Ozarks. It's very much a rural area. Okay, and they're proud of what they do down there. Okay, being in the country. So now we're gonna put this into one congressional district now, where you got one congressman, okay, serving both of these areas. Where you got state representatives and house representatives, in the state level, servicing these people right now. And I'm not knocking the country, nor the urban, okay, but that's not how it's supposed to go, Bill. That's a disaster waiting to take place. But here in Missouri, okay, that's what they just did.
Yeah. Well, they've done it, as you know, they've done it in a couple other states too.
Yeah, but this it was not as blatant. This is blatant, okay. Here, if you look at your map, okay, you got a whole half of the state just about in one congressional district. Now, that's not gerrymandering, okay. What is gerrymandering?
Well, the Supreme Court said they could do it, so it's legal.
You're right. I mean, and you know what?
Supreme Court says that you can do it. You can do it.
But right now, Bill, this is my prediction here, that the people that just got who live in those districts, okay, they just got the changes. The people in the old neck of the Ozarks don't want to be in the same house with Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, they're like different worlds.
Right, it's different worlds. And I think right now, this had to be voted on by the people for this to be law. And I think it would be overridden. And what's going to happen there is Emmanuel Cleaver, who's a Democrat, will have all of that to himself now. Democrats. I think it would backfire. That's my prediction.
Well, I mean, I guess the good news is Cleaver is a very sophisticated politician.
Yes,
he knows how to run. He knows how to run a campaign, and
yes.
And he'll probably. I mean, no matter how they redistrict, Cleaver's got the ability to persuade people to still vote for him.
Thank you, sir.
So I don't think that's a problem. Some of the other problems are with the newer people who have really no name recognition or anything, haven't been around a lot, and they're going to get redistricted out, like the people in Texas, for example.
Right. But Bill, that's what I'm saying. These things are being done with no thought whatsoever. They're trying to make the people in Missouri are trying to be like Trump. The governor here is, all of these governors are trying to act like Trump, be like Trump,
Well, they're all afraid of him, Ira.
Yeah.
They're just afraid of him. They're afraid that if they don't do everything he wants, he's going to somehow harm them. We're living in a society where we're living in threats every day.
Yeah.
But I come back to it. What's the response? How do you take them on? And you're president of the Missouri Black Chamber, and you got Chuck at the National Black Chamber, and I could go down the list. Mm-hmm. The fact is, I didn't see any policies coming out of you guys.
No.
And I think I volunteered to help you if you wanted it, but nobody wants to be in the open, taking going on the heat. And if the black community has an unbelievable chance to really take a leadership role in the 2026 elections, if get some ideas together.
But Bill, right now, I can say this for the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, okay? We are right now formulating some ideas. As a matter of fact, we are making some moves here, okay? In the next couple of weeks, you'll hear more about that. That's not going to lay down and take it, okay? And say, this is how, this is, we love what you're doing. That we got to have a voice. You got to say something, even if it's wrong. But right
There's no right or wrong in politics.
I'm about to say the same thing, Bill. But right now, we're not rolling over and saying, guess what? We like this. No. So now, I can't say what the Nationals are going to do, what they ain't going to do. Okay, but I do know one thing now. Unfortunately, if you have an organization, you got the word black in it. Okay, you immediately become attackable. Well, guess what? I've been black all my life. Okay. I'm used to being attacked. That's nothing new. That is nothing new. I'd be surprised if I wasn't attacked.
That's probably true too.
Yeah, I'm being real, Bill.
Well,
I mean,
you have to come up in a very gracious way, thoughtful way, with ideas that can confront the other side. That is essential to winning.
But I'm trying to get my mother says it's not what you do, it's how you do what you do. And that's right now where we find ourselves. It's not how we do what we need to do. And we need to do something. We need to do something. Doing nothing is not an option no more.
Oh, hold on, I sort of lost you.
Okay, you got me now? Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear.
I got you back.
Okay. What I was saying over here is, doing nothing is not an option now.
No, it's not an option.
I mean, and
that's exactly why Trump is redistricting.
Yes. And that's why I say here in Missouri now, normally if it's some bad news, we're at the top of the list. If it's good news, we're at the bottom. But I think right now that enough people got pissed off, over this redistricting stuff here in Missouri. Not only are they doing the redistricting, they're changing the law that when we have a referendum, you can put on the ballot and you have a majority. That law can be changed and get into the books. Well, they're now trying to change that, and some things that people got approved last election. They're telling them now that they can't have those things. So that's sad. They have created enough of a mess here, or piss enough people off, I should say, that this may backfire on the Republican Party.
I think a lot of things could backfire on them.
Right. I mean, people right now is like the movie Network. They mad. They ain't gonna take it no more.
The only reason why I say I don't know how much of a backfire it's going to be is Trump and the Republican Party are probably going to have a couple billion dollars to spend on the campaign. And by the time you're done, you will think that the one beautiful bill gave you more money than you've ever had in your life. Tomorrow they're going to give you a house. The year after that, they're going to give you a Jaguar, and everything's just going to be fine. And they're going to run so many ads. Everybody's going to be out of reality, and they're going to run them on TikTok with all the influencers, and they're going to start telling you all kinds of pretty little things, and the world's going to be perfect. People who don't hear the other side believe the world's going to be perfect.
Bill, one thing, and I know I can say this as an authority, being an old-time politician where we knocked on doors, talk to people one-on-one. Social media, has taken that away from the public now. Hold on one second, Bill. I got Melinda joining us. Hold on a second. Okay. Bill, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, we got Melinda, who's the chairman, the president of the Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce, just joined us. How you doing, Melinda?
I'm doing good, Brother Ira. Had a little complications, but I'm on right now.
That's okay. Well, we got Brother Bill Kovaks on the phone with us also.
Hi, Melinda. How are you?
Melinda still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, Bill, Melinda, her city hosted recently, I think it was our third, Melinda, was our fourth conference in Atlanta. of the Missouri National Black Chamber of Commerce, National Business League, and National Conference of Black Mayors. Am I right, Melinda?
Yes, sir.
And they had a turnout of over 3,000 people showed up.
Wow.
Yes. It was
So now,
amazing.
and now Melinda, by the way, got an award also. So she's not, she's kind of not just one of the little people. She got an award for her chamber for what she did. What was that award for, Melinda?
National Black Chamber of the Year under the leadership of Chuck DeBoe and the National Black Chamber of Commerce.
And also, Bill, I'm really miss you, okay? We need to take a moment here, okay? Melinda's husband just had some major surgery, so we want to pray for him also, Melinda, for taking the time to give us some time for you, to come on today, okay? We want to thank you for that.
We appreciate it, and thank you so much. He's recovering well, and I'll definitely share the message with him.
Yes. So now, Melinda, if you can, tell us what happened at some highlights from the conference.
The highlights from the conference is almost where do you want me to start? It is such an exciting opportunity to bring Black businesses together in the Black Mecca city, global city of Atlanta, Georgia. There were businesses that came from near and far, some that came from our backyard in Atlanta, as well as some that came from Africa, different countries. So it was definitely very energetic, very enlightful. Resources were shared, people engaging in opportunities, MOUs came across tables, different rooms. There were panelists. There were a lot of people that had the information willing to share. So you had, at the expo, you had people that were doing some great panelist information. That was one of the best conference that I can say that the chamber participated in because it's hands-on. These are the people where you can actually communicate with the organizers. The organizers are not in a separate space or a separate room or behind the curtains. Dr. Ken Harris, the National Business League president and CEO, you had our beloved Dr. We call him Dr. Charles DeBoe, who I have had the pleasure of knowing for many, many years. And Charles, as we call him, Chuck, is the president and CEO of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. And then you had Mr. Johnny Ford, Honorable Johnny Ford.
Johnny Ford, yes.
Yes, in the House with the World Congress of Mayors. And they were accessible. People could take pictures with them. They talked to the people. So this was a very unique conference where you had leaders engaging with everyone and getting to know people and to know business. We had our three that have received the award. Mr. Jalen Ubo, whose company is worth over $250 million, and we mentored him. We had Bernie Thomas, and we had Kendra Emerald. So we were blessed with a young, upcoming people that's going to be leading the chamber. We're mentoring them right now. And Jalen happens to be our story. In our bridge building, and this is what the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce does, we do bridge building. So we were able to bridge a lot of people at that conference. And we're just so thankful for that. Had the right partners and right people in the right place.
Okay, well, Bill, it seemed like, you answered a question earlier, okay, of some of the things that the chambers are doing. And just, I didn't make it this year because I just had knee replacement, but I'm doing better, by the way. Okay.
Well, I'm glad and we're going to pray for you as well.
Well, I know I've been to the conference before, and I guess a joyous time. I'll be there next year. But right now, Bill and I was talking about, before you got on the phone here, about how the blacks it's a good time now for blacks to become more proactive right now, and standing up, for our people and getting things done. And that's a serious issue that we're having right now. Do you agree?
Yes, we are having a serious issue. We having issues with so many Black women who had great careers are now finding themselves unemployed. We have businesses that are closing down because of lack of funding. We have some serious issues, but I'm truly believing that we focus on the resurrection and focus on how, in our faith and our belief, how we can resurrect for some of the challenges that we are facing.
Well, I know, Melinda. One of the things that you hear come with Brother Bill, it's time, for us as blacks, okay, to stand up, and make a difference right now. Because really, your chamber is doing great things. We, Missouri Chamber of Commerce, we have some things on our agenda where we mentoring blacks, also young black people, who are now. And one of the things that I always tell people, I don't like to depend on federal programs for us to survive. We just saw a lot of programs, people lost their jobs, businesses around the country because the federal government just cut all these benefits for people. I don't care what color you are right now. They just took an axe like a chainsaw and just went through businesses, Bill. Now, that affected everybody, Bill.
4 minutes, gentlemen and lady.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you and Melinda go. I've had a lot of time today, so why don't I'll sit and listen.
Okay, Bill. Okay. Now, Melinda, let me ask you a question. Okay, as a chamber that's a bridge builder, why don't you share with the audience, okay, some of the things that you guys are doing that may be helpful to other people that listen to the program today?
Yes, Brother Howard, when I first moved to Georgia, I was mentored by previous chamber president and CEO, Teresa Walker. Her and her husband started the first Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And the first thing Teresa said was, Melinda, you live in a conservative community. You need to get you some conservative friends. Not all conservative people think alike. Are highly encouraged, and that's part of our bridge building, that we do work with all parties. A lot of times you grow up with one party and you stick with it, but we have to learn how to be bridge builders. And in our bridge building, we were able to bring the founders of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, who we love so much, our beloved, the late Harry and Kay DeVoe Alfred, to a community that was very resistant because of the name of our chamber, Black. And we had one of the conservative commissioners said, Melinda, I want to support you, but can you change your name? And I said, Commissioner, this is what we'll do. When you come up with a new name, we will entertain it, but we will not change our vision and our mission. And lo and behold, I shared this with Harry. Harry said, well, Melinda, I'm coming to Fayetteville, Georgia. And I said, Harry, you wanted me to start the chamber there. You told me that was the best place. And so Harry came in December of 2016, laid down the law of the land, saying, y'all mess with Melinda, I'll be back. Harry never had to come back. They love us now. With our work, we were able to bring communities together. We brought stakeholders from different parties, faith, belief, race, all together. And what that did, that helped solve a lawsuit that they have been fighting for 30 years. So you know what that means, 30 years. Sort of like the biblical scripture. They were in the wilderness for a long time. So they were fighting it, and we had the resources, the skill set, the expertise, and talents to get it done. So one of my board member and the original founder with me, Jennifer Jackson, she stood there, and we worked together, 2 Black women leading the cause, along with my support and my backbone, Clarence Sylvester, my husband, who believed in the chamber, believed in the mission, and believed and wasn't for Clarence, who financially supported us until we could get on our feet, and he made sure the chamber could be in existence, because the challenges was we were misunderstood, and sometimes, and I'll talk to Bill. Bill, sometimes our enemies is in our community. We're fighting ourselves.
Yes.
And
Oh, absolutely.
it's harder to fight than us going to a conservative community, and we're prepared. We're like, yeah, we're ready, you know. But we have to fight in our own community. That hey, we're here to uplift and bring the community together. But sometimes people have different agendas. We don't know why they don't want it to happen. They'll try to block you and stop you. We just don't know what their agenda was. But after we had a meeting and we share and they seen our work, yes, they love us today.
1 minute, Mr. Ara.
Okay.
It was challenging.
Okay. Well, right now, I want to, Melinda, it got late, but right now I want to thank both of you, outstanding leaders, okay, for taking the time on this beautiful Saturday, give us your time, Miss Melinda, especially with, you and your beautiful husband, Clarence Sylvester, and, him doing what he's done to back you and you backing him, and Mr. Kovaks, my big brother, okay, and our friend. I want to thank you also for taking time this beautiful Saturday. Just to have some good dialogue, which is now missing in our country right now. And I think, Melinda, you have to agree, okay, dialogue is the thing that we need to hear more of and talk more of about each other. But I know Melinda will be joining us again sometime soon with more time.
Yes. And I want to say this, bridge building is an initiative. We want to have conversation. Invite us into the conversation. We want to be there.
We will, okay. And right now, I want to thank both of you again. My name is Aaron, folks. That's Melinda Sylvester. That's Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Kovaks, author and writer and friend of the program, for joining us. And that's Scott Owens. My name is Aaron, folks. Thank you so much. This is Mr. Black Chamber of Commerce. On a beautiful Saturday, Scott, kick us out of here and have a beautiful weekend, and life is good.